Hi, Prashant, Sukant. Let us wait. Let us wait for 1 2 minutes more.
Hi, ma'am. Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, I have one doubt. So we created a different APIs for get, post, put and patch with the same slash user and ID. So if we have two APIs with slash user and ID for I mean for get the specific user or post specific user, then at real time, if we configure this API to front end, then how it will identify which API we call, I mean, for post or get with same
In the
parameters
front
or
end,
parameter.
actually, see the form always use a method. Okay, when you submit the form from the front end, right, or from whichever application uh, you call the API. API expects three things from you. API expects the request method, which can be like get, put, or patch, or something like that. Any path variable if you're sending, that is your ID, right? And the
Mhm.
request body. So these three things makes the difference. Understood? You cannot have two get method with same path name and path variable. I'll explain. Okay.
But yesterday, for I mean for get mapping and for post mapping, we have same, I mean slash user and ID to post. I mean to
Yeah, but it
uh,
is one of them is get mapping, other one is patch mapping, right? So the
yes,
request
the
method is
mapping is
different.
different, but how at real time how it will identify which I mean.
In real time only it will be, see, in real time or whatever it may be, you do it at your laptop also and call it from the postman also. Your postman is your client application, right? Your
Yes, yes.
in real time your client application can be like some other mobile application or web application, something like that. So they will actually send the request method when a form will be submitted, right?
Mhm.
In every API, when the form is in every API call, means the form data is getting submitted to the API call. So your when the form data is getting submitted, with every form there is a request method present. Okay, the request
Okay.
means with every API call there are three things present. One is get or put, whatever the request method may be. Get, put, post, patch, put. Okay. Then second thing is the path.
Mhm.
Okay. And third thing is the body, the request body, the data, input data.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So with that it identify. I'll show you. Just give me a second. I'll share my screen. So let me share my screen. I am not going to wait for any other candidate. Review their wish because everybody should have their personal responsibility. Live classes, I'm always saying very much important. Then the recorded mode. Recorded mode, you cannot means you cannot be that attentive. can take it casually, but live classes are like it will force you to be more attentive and more effective as well. Okay,
Mm.
so Shrikant, right? Shrikant or Prashant? Prashant. So Prashant, your doubt was like how the front end can know, right? See
Mm.
here, this gate mapping is there,
Yes.
gate mapping and user ID slash user ID, and then again we have patch mapping here.
Yes. Same with slash
uh,
user and ID.
Slash user ID. So this and this, they are different by their request method. Okay. So front end, every time the API, when the API call is happening, right, from the client end, definitely the get map, is it a get request or put request or patch request, that has to be sent. Like the way I am sending it from the front end, right? From the postman. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Here I can show you like how, see this, how this is getting called in the postman. Can you see? I'm calling a patch method, right?
Yes.
It's a patch method. I'm sending the user ID and this is a patch method. So this is call command. It is using internally call command. What is the location? See the request method, it is sending what? Patch.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Location is this one, http colon slash slash localhost 8080 user slash 3. This is the location and request is patch. Okay, and header is your content type, means the request header is JSON, application JSON, and this is the data request body.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and this is how it is going to send. Similarly, if you send it like this, get mapping, I want to send get the ID, I mean detail of the user ID 1. So the data I could retrieve, and in if you see in the postman, call location. By default, if method is not there, it is going to be get. Okay. So gate and this is the location. So from the gate and this one, it can know that okay, this is my this API. Okay. Similarly, if I will do a post, yeah, I will call send. ID is 5. To see gate, see here, this is the data, call location, header. If data is here present, right? Data here it is present, that is it knows that it is post. It can be for get, it can be get or post. But with get you cannot have this kind of request body. So it will assume
Mm.
that okay, this is post. Now if I will just try to change put here and I'll say send. See here, request type is put. Means for get and post, it is not explicitly mentioning that request is get or post, because see, get means there is no body. The
Mm.
gate, there
Yes.
is no body. Means your server knows that. It is just a gate request. Okay, with for this part. It knows. It's a gate request for this part. So it will invoke this method. Then post. Here there is no request method is present. That means, and also data is present. That means request body is present in this post. So, and the path is slash user. So post, this one will be called. Okay. Now for put mapping, it has everything. Put, put means this one will be called class
Mm.
user,
Okay.
and the content. This is the data. So request body, this JSON data will be changed. This just your Spring container will change it to this JSON to the request body. It will change. That means the user will change it to user. Who will do that for us? Spring container will have Spring container internally use the class called Jackson. Okay. Many time you will find this error. Many time you will find Jackson error like that. Yesterday also we were getting right Jackson error when I was using this as like this. Let
Hmm.
me revert back. Request body I was having this and then I was like local date. I just wanted to change the birth date. Local date, then date, something like this I was doing. And I was trying to change it. Okay, then I was that time I was getting error, Jackson error. I was getting Jackson error. Yesterday, just towards the end of the class when I was designing this API, I was getting Jackson error. And what error I was getting? The error was saying that string. Okay, let me do one thing. I'll just return some, let it be local date and I'll just return some object, some you from the list only user DAO service. I'll give return the first object. Okay. User by ID. ID. Okay. What was the error? I just I reverted it to the yesterday version, and mostly I'm trying to revert it to the yesterday version to show you that like what error I was getting. Okay.
Hmm.
Now what I will do, I'll stop the server. I will start it and I will call my patch mapping. So patch mapping is for what I said. Patch mapping, I said that we don't need to send the entire data. Means a user has a lot of attributes. It can be like birth date, it can be city, it can be surname or first name. Sometimes user also will try to change their address. Okay, so many things are attached to the user. So with put mapping, what we do, we send everything, whatever the user has, along with the ID also. The user ID means whatever user ID, everything we send so that your service will do what? It will just replace. It will
Hmm.
just replace the whatever object has been sent by the uh, client application. Your service assume that as the fresh one, the corrected one, and it will just do what? Will remove the older one, whatever is present there in the database, it will just remove the older one and it will just add the new one. So it is a replacement kind of thing it does. So in the interview, if someone asks you, the interviewer asks you that what is the difference between your put mapping and patch mapping, then I I think you should not have this doubt anymore because we have discussed it for enough time. Like this is for replacement. Put mapping is to update the existing resource just by replacement. Like whatever we get from the client, we replace that. Okay, we just assume it as the corrected version and whatever is there in the database, we just remove it and replace the corrected data which we have received from the front end. So the front end here it sends everything, the whole data it sends, the new resource it sends. But here in patch mapping, what we do, we just send the partly data, means a part of data. Means I just want the date. My intention is just to change the date or name or something like that. So here, what error I was getting in the patch mapping? Okay. Now here, birth date of Vishal I am planning to change. It's through the postman. So the request method I have used as patch. This is the path. This is the path. User slash ID. ID, that means I know Vishal user ID is 3. And so that's why I have sent this in the path. And I just corrected the birthday and I am sending.
String to this conversion, right? Date conversion issue.
So it is saying that what bad request. Okay, timestamp status. This is the timestamp we got. Status error is bad request, and what it is saying. Let's see. If you go, let me just take this whole thing. This trace we will take, and I will try to put the trace where. Try to put the trace over here. So I'll just try to highlight the important thing what you should know. See here, something like deserialization it is telling you. Let me deserialization it is saying, right? See deserialization context, right? The local date deserialized. It is not able to deserialize. Means the birthday I am sending and it is not able to deserialize that to local date. Okay. So this is one error we are getting. And here something like dispatcher servlet also you can see. Dispatcher servlet also you are saying I am keep on taking this name right many times. Isn't it? I have taken this name many times. Dispatcher servlet. If you remember, this is the
Yes,
dispatcher
yes.
servlet. The front controller is the dispatcher. Means every request response is going through this front controller. This is the gate. Okay. I can enter to my patch API or put API or get API or post API, whatever resource I am having here. To this resource, I can only pass through from this front controller, from this dispatcher circuit. Okay. So the response the issue here is it is not able to bind the data. Jackson, I was telling the name Jackson also. So Jackson is doing the data bind, right? Jackson takes care of that. Jackson conversion means this. I was telling you Jackson. Somewhere I was taking you the name Jackson means here whatever request body it receives, right? From the request body it receives here. Here it receives in the JSON format, right? So Jackson expects what? Here the Jackson expects what? The Jackson try to deserialize it. Yesterday I was telling deserialization, serialization. What is deserialization? Deserialization is when your JSON object, this is your JSON object. Request body is your JSON object. When this JSON object, when it gets changed to Java object, this request object, it's supposed to change to Java object here. Supposed to change the Java object. So that conversion is taken care by whom? That conversion is taken care by Jackson. Okay, and that is called deserialization. So here Jackson is not able to deserialize. That is the issue. Okay, so I further analyzed and I found that this Jackson always expect the JSON format only and in a key value, in a list kind of thing, not like this. Or in a string, it can be string or it can be list. The request body always try to remember it can be list, it should be list or it should be string. So my case it is local date, so that's why the data bind could not happen. Okay, the birth date it could not change. So what I will do, I'll just go back to my previous approach. I just corrected before Sometimes it needs bit R&D. Okay. So here what I did, see, I am actually sending a, means now my input parameter has become a map. Okay. Why? Because sometime I need to change the birth date, sometime I need to change the name, sometime I need to change the city, sometime I need to change the address. So just like real time, in real time, the way things goes, I just try to design like this. Like my front end can send any type of data. Sometimes birthday and name both, or sometimes only one data or more than one data, like that. So that's why what I did, I tried to convert it in a map. Means my input method, my API method has the capability to receive a list. Map is also your means it is also your collection, right? It is a list. So your uh, this Jackson needs what? Jackson expects this request body, whatever it is getting, right, from the client, whatever it is getting from the client, it should be in the body data should be in JSON format, and the JSON data it try to convert it into a list, or it try to convert it into a string, or it try to convert it into a Java object. So here local date was not the acceptable format, so I changed it to map. Map is the one of the means expected format by Jackson. That's why I changed it. Okay. Now what I will do? See the updates I'm receiving here, and then I'm updating the birth date. How I am doing in the DAO service? Just have a look in the DAO service. Here, what I am doing, I'm trying to retrieve the existing user from the database. How I am doing that? Since user list, my database is my memory only. User list is a array list here. It is a memory object. It is still in. I'm creating the database in the memory. So what I'm doing? I'm streaming here. I'm doing the streaming. Then I'm trying to use the functional programming. I'm doing the functional programming by filtering like this. I'm trying in the dot filter. What I'm doing? I am comparing like in the user list. Dot filter will do what? It will keep on passing each object from the user list. So this use the object what it is keep on streaming and passing here one by one, that I am assuming as existing user. With this existing user get ID int value, I am trying to compare the ID, the ID which I am getting from the client in the path variable, in the path, right? So I am comparing here. If this condition satisfy, I am just trying to extract that first value. What in the first moment when it is getting matched, I'm just taking that and I'm getting that object and keeping it here. Okay, that object only I'm doing trying to get and putting it over here. Now, this updates what from where I have got this updated value from where I have got. Not a single response.
From that JSON that we are sending.
Exactly, Prashant. Very good. I'm impressed actually, Prashant. Very good. Long way to go. So keep up like your attention like this always. So these updates, we are getting it from the front end. Okay. So we have got it right, guys. Please pay your attention here. We are getting from controller, right? This update bar date is getting update. Let me refactor this. What I should do? Always, whenever you are doing any change, do it from the ID only. I'll refactor with update user data. Okay. Now this update we have got it from the API call. This update has come from where? From the Postman, from here. Now see here, this update is a map on this. What we are doing, we are iterating. We are iterating over the update keys and apply the changes manually. How we are doing that? How we are updating the keys uh, and changes. See here, update is a map, right? It is a map. The key is a string, and for this key, there is a value object. So what I am doing, for each key and value, I'm seeing if the key is birthday, then I'm just calling set birthday, and I'm trying to set that. If the key is a name, I'm trying to set the name. Like this I am doing. Okay. And then my user is updated. Just I'm returning the existing user. Okay. And my controller is also returning that user. So let's see. Excuse me. Let's see how it is doing now. This method, how it is working. Okay. For this user Vishal, I want to make his birth year as 1995. Let's see. So it got changed. This is the response we got. The response is 200. Okay. Okay. And then the gate mapping also we will try to verify. Get user 3 for data Vishal user. Yes, the birthday also changed. Right. Now suppose you realize that you should change the name of this user. Name, instead of name Vishal, you want to just keep his name as Vishal Mishra or something like this. Okay, let's see. Yes, his name also got changed. Now, if I want to retrieve his data through the gate mapping for the particular user, it is Vishal mapping. Okay, Vishal Mishra is coming, so it is working fine. Okay, and we have a gate mapping here also. So all the users are coming, Vishal Mishra, coming fine. Okay. Now, if you say that no, I want to change his birthday as well as his birthday is not 1995, his birthday is 96. This is 11. Let's see. The gate mapping also we found the required expected out. Okay. So your patch mapping is doing what? Either you can just whenever you want your data to change partially, let it be a patch API. Okay. And when you want the data to be changed fully, full update you want, full means the whole update or whole replacement you want, go for the full. Understood? How many of us are there? Only two people are only 5 people, and I'm not even getting one response also I'm not getting.
Yes, yes.
Only Prashant and Shrikant,
Yes,
Pratiksha, Kumar, all of you, why you are so silent? Any issue or hungry? Please, guys, have energy. I think people are too younger than me. I am having means being more like older to you people, I am having this much of energy, and you people are very young, so please have more energy, excitement. Okay, that is how we can learn things and progress. Okay, so patch mapping is done. I hope you people are clear with this. Now, one more mapping, one more API is left, that is delete mapping. That we will do. Sometime we want to delete a user. Okay, so what we should do? We should have an API also for that. That is your delete mapping. Okay, and then the path, Prashant, you can see that every time I'm keeping same. Okay, the method is, see,
Yes,
as
yes.
long as the method is different, method name is the means as long as your method request method is different, you can have a means same path. Okay, but if I am having one more method also, patch mapping method, suppose I am having one more patch mapping method, update user data, something like that I will do, but I cannot have same path. There is a if this kind of thing, if I will keep over here, right? Then Spring will confuse. The Spring container will confuse that which one to be invoked. The dispatcher servlet will here, the front controller dispatcher servlet will confuse that I am having a request of request method of patch type, patch mapping, and this is the path, and my Spring since I am having two method here, two resource with this. Actually, this kind of if you will have this kind of scenario, this kind of coding, right? Definitely there is no compilation error because the method names are different. But your Spring container will not start, I think. You can try it out. Okay. You can
Mhm.
try it out. Why? Because when the Spring engine itself, when it starts, right? So it does the scanning here. Here it does the scanning. Spring Boot application. Just remember the first, second class where I told you that every Spring Boot application has an entry point. This entry point is annotated as at the rate Spring Boot application. Okay. When the main method gets called, when you are starting your jar file, this main method will call, and this main method will start your Tomcat server. Spring application dot run when you do, right? This run is inside this main method. You are running your Spring application inside. When the moment when you do this, the Tomcat server starts, the Spring container starts, and this at the rate Spring Boot application means it has three for more annotation. If you drill down, it has three more annotation. What are those? One is Spring configuration, Spring Boot configuration, enable auto configuration, and components. Spring Boot configuration, enable auto configuration means it will enable all the means auto configurable file, whatever it finds in the class path, right? The pom.xml is for downloading all the jars, required jars, and it put it in the class file. It put it in the class path. So whatever jar it finds, it sees Jackson, it sees your logback, it sees your whatever it is finding, servlet, this way means dispatcher servlet, then all these things it will be auto configured. Okay, all these bin will be auto configured. This Spring Boot configuration, enable auto configuration, everything will auto configured means auto loaded into the memory. It will be loaded, and the moment it will do scanning, and then when the scanning happens, it keeps note of all the API, like which all REST controller are there. So it for user controller is a REST controller annotated as REST controller. That means it has all API method. It will keep note of all the path that for slash users get, slash users ID get mapping, then slash user post, slash user put, then here it will come /user ID patch and /user ID patch. That means here a confusion. Two method, update user and update user data method. Both the method are having same path name and same request method. That means it is not acceptable. It will throw error and your Spring container will not go further. It will just stop there. Okay. So Spring only will not allow you to do that. So you should have your API should be unique in terms of path. Means each API is consisting of what? It's consisting of your method, request method plus path, request method, path and request code. Okay. These three things. These three things make it unique. Your request method, if two request method are same, then path has to be different. If two request method are, if two path are same, then request method has to be different. Request body has to be different, like that. Okay. These three combinations only make it your method as a API. Got it? Request method, path, and request code.
Yes, yes.
Now, delete mapping, I was there, right? So for delete mapping, let us quickly create one API, public return a string, delete user. So delete, when you are deleting a user, you cannot delete all users. You will delete only the ID, right? So here ID you will receive it from the path. So that's why I have put it in a parenthesis, and the moment you are adding something with the path in parenthesis means that you are expecting here as path variable. You can string ID now or int ID also. Now user DAO service dot delete the pass the ID. Take the help of your ID only to create the method for you. Now how you will get the user ID? Okay. So first of all, in the user DAO service, you have a method already, this dot get user by ID. So get the user by ID. And then you remove it from the user list. User list dot remove this user and return string. Success or deleted something like that. Here the controller also say the same thing. Whatever it is returned, you just return that. Okay, and let's see. Till this it is clear, right?
Yes, yes.
Let's see. The server is starting. In the meantime, we have to add one more API here. The request method should be delete. Let this user we will delete. Nobody here. Server started. So they sent, so user got deleted. Now this get it. Let's see if we are going to get this user or not. So Vishal is not there, right? So your delete is successful. So very plain API, simple one. So this is how, means we covered the API, all these API, whatever we discussed, starting from your get to retrieve all user, get user slash ID, retrieve one user, post is to create one user, put is to update one user, update just replace one user, patch is update a part of the user, specific part of the specific part of the user, and delete is delete the specific, delete the single use, delete a single user. So these are the API generally we do. Okay. Now we will go to one more method. Okay. See, actually, in the real time, okay, we just don't send this user like this. We want some more custom data. Okay. That means in the header, if this in this patch mapping, right? Okay, user P is not there anymore. So let me create one user P. So that also, I'll just do one thing. Using this put API, we have this fourth user is there. Na? We will try to replace this. Using this, and I am just trying to make it. Okay, so you can see here, right? In the put mapping, we just got 200. Okay, the put mapping, what we are doing. Should have got the user. Okay, it is. Why we did not get the real user? So, okay, the update has not happened. ID also I wanted to change. Okay, okay, got it. So here some exception has come. See, let me just stop it, debug it. I started it in the debug mode. I have to keep the breakpoint I have put over here, and I will just try to which API I am calling? Put API I am calling. Okay. And in the put API, my user was what I am trying to do. I'm just trying to update one user. ID will be 4 only. ID will be 4. Name instead of Pradeep, I am keeping it Vishal. And something I have changed. This one will work. This one will work. That's why. Just a minute. The user, what all thing we are getting? We are getting ID, name is Vishal. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have when we started the server, We have 4 users. Now, for this ID 4, name Vishal, means the name we want to change. Birthday also we want to change. Why it is for the first user it is false. For the second user also it is going to be false. For the third user also, are you seeing the way I am debugging? It is false. For the fourth user, it is true. It is removing the user, adding the user, returning the user. Okay, so here we got a user object. Then after that, it's going to the framework actually internally. Going to the framework. Yes, got it. Actually, some deeper concept here means if I will tell all those things, then you may not be able to understand. Just try. Let me try to keep the thing simple. The user DAO service, when it started, right? We have 4 users. So I will call the gate. The breakpoint got created here. So when I call the get method, how many users I'm getting here? I'm getting, it is returning actually all the means everything it is returning. One means user also got updated. Can you see that the fourth user we tried to change the name as Vishal and birthday is this one, it changed. Okay, but in the put mapping, we should have got the we have got the bird. Okay, we have got also the response also we have got. Everything we have got. But the moment if I will give this as 5, what is going to happen? Let's see. Is there any user 5 is not there, right? The user is not there, 5 users, 5th user is there. Guys, are you confused? Hello? Are you there?
Yes, yes.
See, what I am trying to say you that like sometimes what is going on at the background, we are like hardly difficult. See here, I am if I call a gate API here, how many users I am having in my database? Let me take this user ID 1, okay, and I try to update here with the put mapping. What I will do here with this ID, the name I am going to change. Let me remove also the breakpoint, otherwise uh, it will keep on stopping there. Just want to remove the breakpoint. Now you see here the ID 1, the name I am changing, the birthday I have changed, and I will just try to press the send button, and what I saw that it is giving me a means the expected response it gave like 200 I got, everything I got. Okay, now what I will do, ID I will give 5 and I will try But this ID is existing here. This ID is existing here. So whatever I wanted to do, this ID, Usha Rani, Usha Mishra is there. From Usha to Usha Mishra, I changed the birthday, I changed. Everything got updated in the database. Okay. Now, if I will give the ID 5, the ID 5 is there in the database? No. So it's supposed to give me an error, right?
Yes.
What it gave? 200 is giving me. It is not this user is not there. There is no ID called 5 in my database. Then how come it is giving me this kind of response, right? So sometime what we need to do actually here, this line actually in this code, it has never entered into this loop, right? It has never entered, means it has never entered to this if block because there is no ID called 5. So I should have got a custom message that resource is not there, isn't it? But I did not got that. So what I supposed to do? I should have got a custom message. I should have got means return null. It actually it has returned null to me. That's why my body is not containing anything, right? My body is not containing anything. So what I should do? So to handle this kind of thing, we have a response entity. What we should do like this, instead of here in the user controller, what should you do? Go to this put mapping. Don't return the object like this. We should have some more control on our response. So what should we do? Instead of returning this, we should return the response entity. Response entity is like one Spring framework provided class, which will give you more means control, okay, on your response. Response entity dot, okay. Response means first of all, what I am going to do here, user DAO service. If it is updated, then it will send. It will give you user. Sir, okay. User updated user. Let me name it as updated user. And what I will do, if updated user, if updated user is not equal to null, what I will do? I will return response entity dot status, HTTP status dot. Your data is already updated. So what I will do? I say created. It is already created. Whatever input data you have said, it is created. Dot header. In the header, what I will say? In the header, I will give a custom header. Is updated. Is updated. I will say yes. Success. Is updated. Change it to here. Is updated. I will say success. Succeeded. Or success. Something like this. Then in the body, I will return the user. I return the user. Okay. And my method will return what? My method will return response entity. So I am having here more control actually. Okay. So in real time, we don't return the object as it is like this. Means we have some means control on the response. The response in terms of sending it as an object as it is, you should send it in the response entity. Response entity is a class which is providing you more control in terms of providing some custom header like this. Okay. Else, if this is else you return the response entity, what we will do? We'll say HTTP status not found. Okay. Is updated. Here the is user found. Is user found? No, user is not there. User is not in database. Some custom message we are sending here, and in the body just send some message. Please correct your input. Or yeah, please correct your input. Okay, and let's start the server. Okay, now user 5 is not there. What I will do is, first of all, I'll take a user. Okay, let me take this user. The get mapping, how many user I'm having? I'm having 3 user. I want to correct this user data. Instead of Mitra, I'll just put Mitra. The birth date I'm changing it as 89 and I'll just hit send. Okay, so okay, Usha got okay, Mishra, only Mishra I have updated. Let me Mishra want to correct. So it got updated. So what actually I got now? 201. 201 is for created. HTTP status, what I'm sending here? I'm sending the HTTP status as created. The header, in the header, what all thing I am getting? See here is updated success. So your front end will check for this custom header. Is updated. Is it updated or not? So it will double confirm from there. Yes, it is saying success. And in the body, what we are sending? In the body, we are sending user. Okay. So you are having more control. Now let's see if we will pass some user which is not there in the database. For that, what it is giving. So what it is giving? 404 not found. 40 not found is resource is not there, right? Understood? It has entered into this. Means here this updated user, this is null. Previously, what we were doing? We were just sending null to the client, isn't it? Guys, please say yes, no, some response.
Yes.
So
Yes.
previously our method, this user DAO service, it was returning null, right? If user is present in the database, it was able to do all this remove, add, everything it was doing. It was entering into this if block. But if I'm sending some random ID like this along with the name and birthday, then what it will do? It can never enter into this if block and it will return a null. Now my controller will do what? My controller also will send a null here. Okay, and my client also will get a null here along with 200. So what the client will understand? My client has no idea what is there. My by mistake ID 5 has been sent and the name has been changed to something, and but if my client should have proper knowledge that what is going on there at the service side. So my service has told to my client that see, this is not found. 404 not found. Means 404 response code is user. This user ID, this user itself, this user is not there in the database. Okay. And header, what is the is user found? User is not in database. This is a custom header I sent. Understood? And then I have sent a custom header. I have sent the proper status code. Then in the body also I'm saying you please correct the input. Okay, so with all this information, my client has more idea, more knowledge that the request what I have said to the API, what has been done with that request, my client knows now. Whether it is updated, whether it is not updated, or what is the error the client has done, everything. Now it is crystal clear to my client. Okay. So why we should use the response entity object? Because whenever we want to have more control, whenever, no, it is not whenever, it is always, we always want um, to have more control on our response. So we should not send the bean like this, the user bean, the object we should not send to the API directly as response. What we should do instead of that, we should send the response entity. Response entity is a class provided by your Spring framework where you have the control to provide the required status, required header, and the body. Okay. Every response has three things. Every request has three things. I told you every request is a like having request method. Somewhere I wrote, right? It has request method, it has uh, path, and it has body. Similarly, every response has three things. It has status, HTTP status, required HTTP status, then your headers and your body. Okay, so in case of found or not found, how you should handle. Understood?
Yes, yes.
Now actually I just wanted to teach one more important thing, that is exception handling. How actually we do it in real time. Actually, this is how we do response entity. Okay, so try to practice this response entity today. Definitely, I'll share the assignment to you all. Okay, you should design the post all the API like get to delete all the API for the for the post actually, and using response entity. Okay, so that you can create some custom header and you can send it. Okay, and the bean always you try to send it in the body, means the corrected bean. And in case is no, means if the corrected data is coming as null, then that means your input is wrong. So you should handle it accordingly. Okay. So exception handling I will teach tomorrow. That is very important because one of the means most asked question in the interview, that like how you do the exception handling Spring Boot. Suppose you are applying for some backend engineer post. Okay, then definitely means how you handle exception in core Java or in Spring Boot. Everywhere this is a very means frequently asked question. So try to be more attentive in tomorrow's class, and be uh, means be there in the class. Actually, live sessions are more important, so be there. And tomorrow we will cover exception handling and the validation. Two things, both are very important. Both the concepts are very important. Okay, so now you know how the API to be designed. Okay, and how the API to be invoked, and how the API, how to control the response, sent response. These three things you know. Okay, so try practice all those concept whatever you have learned. Okay, that's all from
Okay.
my end for today. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you. Yeah, go
Uh,
ahead.
uh, Hello, ma'am. Can you share that
Yes.
zip of this source for our reference?
Okay, okay. I'll try to share that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll share it. Okay, thank you. Bye everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.